Hello, my literary luminaries, and welcome back to another Tuesday Talks. This week's topic is what are some problematic tropes or character types? And I think for the most part, I chose the character types and whatnot that I did because I think they're difficult to pull off. Not necessarily that I think they're difficult in fiction, but I suppose that sort of plays into it in that, if it's pulled off badly, it reflects poorly on the trope it is attempting to portray. So, the first one I want to talk about is The Chosen One, which we've seen a lot of lately. I mean, Harry Potter, Triss from Divergent, in some ways Katniss from Hunger Games. There's a lot of stories like that that are coming out now, and it's a lot of, you are the only one that can do this. And the problem is it's very easy to create a very one-dimensional character at that point, is that they simply become the vessel to do whatever the end goal is. Katniss works around this a lot because she sees that, and it's actually a plot point in that, the Mockingjay is the chosen one, and she's told that, essentially, and she resists it for at least a good chunk of time. And so I like it there, and I think it's some of the struggle I've had with Harry Potter as a character up until about the 5th book or so, is that Harry is this perfect rendition of a Gryffindor, of, the boy who lived. He is this package, and that's all we see for a while. And when we get into about the 5th book is when, all the hormones start coming up and he starts getting angsty. And I immensely like him more as a character at that point. But it's a difficult trope to do well, to do consistently, because it's very easy to shortchange it. And I think that's unfortunate because when it's used correctly, it can be really cool. But again, it's another one that I've seen a lot of lately, and I've seen a lot of it done really poorly. The next one on my list is the quote-unquote strong female character, all capital letters there. And this is a problem because of the fact that I can list it and say all capital letters, and probably a good chunk of you know exactly what I mean at that point. And it's the same problem as The Chosen One, is that the strong female character has become this icon of an ideal that doesn't actually exist. It's like, oh, well, we can't have this lead female character look weak, so let's give her all of these traits and not explain why. And just, she is that thing. And it becomes, in the end, it becomes a lot like The Chosen One. And that's like, well, okay, but there's nothing to this character. She's just this enigma of positive concepts. And it lacks the depth of any sort of character that I want to connect to. It's, as much as I'm going to get flack for this, I'm sure, as much as I absolutely adore this character, and I think the creator, sort of the character we know of it, does very well with characters and making them well-rounded. If you watch some of the really early Buffy the Vampire Slayer stuff from like the TV show as opposed to the movie, early Buffy is in some ways a strong female character, and she grows into something more as the show continues. But I think that's why I dislike early Buffy so much, because there's not a lot to Buffy at the beginning other than I'm the Slayer and I beat all the bad things. The next one on my list is the unreliable narrator. And I've had a lot of people comment on either books that I've read, books that I've seen reviewed, stuff that's floating around that I've seen, that really dislike something, and all the reasons they state are because the main narrator is an unreliable narrator. I see it a lot with Catcher in the Rye. A lot with Catcher in the Rye. Because Holden Caulfield is a quintessential unreliable narrator. He goes off on tangents, he talks about things that don't matter for 2 chapters, and then maybe sort of comes back to his original point, and he is all over the place. And I've had so many people talk to me and be like, how do you possibly like this book? Caulfield drives me insane. And my answer is because that's exactly how most, middle teen, 15, 16, I don't remember how old Holden's supposed to be, year old boys think. People think. That's how I thought at that age. We don't stay on target well. We're jaded by what we believe, what we think, and that colors our entire view and makes it not necessarily true, but to the narrator, especially in a first-person narrator, it is. And so, yes, you're going to get Holden's view of the world, and it's going to be incredibly bizarre and detached, and all these sorts of things. But that's part of the way the story is told. We see this a lot in horror as well, particularly if you go and look at the YouTube series Marble Hornets. Jay is a classic unreliable narrator. We have no clue what's going on because Jay has these holes in his knowledge. He's just gone. And I really enjoy the unreliable narrator. I can't really write it well as of yet, but I like what it can bring, but I think it's difficult to get right. And the last one I have on my list is actually one that I worked on in my manuscript, and that's the concept of a turncoat, or traitor of any kind. Particularly one that is supposed to be a surprise, because I have a character like that in my manuscript, and it took me a long time before I was even remotely convinced that I thought I pulled it off well, because it's far too easy to want to put in little hints so that the reader can get an idea that it's coming, but really doesn't see it completely until the reveal. But it's way too easy to make those hints far too obvious, and I had that problem for a long time. And I've seen other authors do it where it's like, oh, I see exactly where this is going. Clearly it is this character. And by the end, it was that character, and I am not surprised. I like being surprised, especially with someone that's supposed to be like a traitor. And it doesn't always happen because we telegraph too much in our writing. And that's unfortunate because that kind of shock to the system is absolutely a fantastic part of writing, and I don't see it nearly often enough. But I would very much like to hear what you guys think. What are your sort of problematic tropes or character types? I would love to hear from you. As always, leave me a note down in the comments below or on Twitter at KRIanFrey. I am checking both of them far too often, and I'd of course love to hear from you. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you liked it even more and you want to watch all my other videos when they come out, feel free to subscribe. I post videos twice a week on Tuesday and Thursday. And until next time, I will bid you adieu, and I will see you again on Thursday for Top 5 Thursday. Bye! Welcome back to another Tuesday Talks. Last one of the month, I think. No, wrong. Wait. Oh, no, it is. I'm bad at things. Hello, my literary luminaries. And now you're lagging. Come on. If you liked the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Feel free to